What's up guys, Freezy here. Most players are approaching Adventure Rank 45, and currently AR45 is considered the end game. At AR45, you will gain the access to highest level domains, which have the best drops, and some of them are quite difficult. So this video will be a full guide on all the highest level domains in patch 1.0. If you are close to AR45, watching this video will give you a pretty good idea on what to prepare and expect. So first, let's go over some common tips on domain farming. To start things off, here is the recommended level and gear for your main damage dealers. Enemies in the AR45 domains are around level 90, so you will need properly geared damage dealers. In general, you want level 70 on your main damage dealers, equipped with a level 70 or above weapon, and plus 12 or higher on all the damage boosting artifacts. This is not a hard requirement as some of the domains are significantly easier than the others, but having these are recommended. Another important thing to do is use food and potions. Some of the domains are quite brutal, and using food buffs can prevent a lot of frustration. Here I recommend cooking lots of jade parcels, as the material required is much less than Adeptus Temptation, and the buff is more than enough for farming domains. The elemental potions are also very cheap to make, and it can stack with an attack buffing food. Using food and potion is not required for every domain, but for the next domain I'm gonna cover, I highly recommend using them. It really helps. Now I'll go over 4 of the most difficult endgame domains in detail, and let's start with the worst one first, which is the Talent Book domain in Mondstadt. In this stage, we'll get the Condensed Ice debuff, which greatly increases stamina consumption, and the stage has periodic ice falls, which staggers you on hit. Since we can't dodge as much with the ice debuff, there's a good chance to die instantly to a chain of falling ice. So here are 2 things you can do for this stage. The first thing to do is dispelling the Condensed Ice debuff. Right now, only Bennett or Jin's Elemental Burst can dispel the ice debuff. So if you have these 2 characters, using their burst after seeing the Ice Blast will help a lot. Using 2 Pyro type characters will also reduce the ice debuff duration, so I highly recommend bringing 2 Pyro characters to this domain. If you don't have Jin or Bennett, there is another easy way to handle this stage, and that is using defensive potions with a Geo-type character. Enemies in this stage all have Ice Element applied, so hitting them with a Geo attack will generate Shield Crystal. A level 60 Geo character with 100 or so Elemental Mastery can generate an Ice Shield to block a few thousand damage. So just swap and use Geo attacks to generate a shield every 10 seconds or so will protect you from the falling ice. Keep in mind that the shield strength is only related to the Geo character's level and elemental mastery, so you don't even need to gear them. And the shield crystals do not stack, so only pick 1 up at a time. If you have Ningguang, that is the best, as her E skill can also block ranged projectiles, which helps a lot when fighting the Abyss Mages. Next up, we have the Support Artifact Dungeon. This one is a bit tricky and very important. Since almost every support character uses the Noblesse Oblige set, you're going to farm this domain a lot in the late game. The stage is simple, no special gimmicks, and the only free enemies are 3 Abyss Mages. But fighting all 3 at once is a nightmare, so here is a trick. Right after starting the stage, run straight for the bottom right corner of the map. If done correctly, only the Fire and Ice Abyss Mage will aggro on you, and the most annoying Water Mage will not attack you at all. Move down a bit and have the 2 mages teleport to the corner and take them out first. After taking out the first 2 mages, you can use an archer character to chip down the water mage's shield from afar, and finish the domain easily. Now for the Pyro artifact domain. This one is not difficult but very annoying. In this stage, triggering Overload will deal a few thousand damage to your character, and there is a sigil in the middle that applies the Pyro buff to enemies. The buff will make enemies very hard to kill, and Pyro damage dealers are not very effective on this stage. So the key to beating this one is using Hydro type character to take out the fire buff, and there is a little trick to make this stage a lot easier. After starting the stage, run to the bottom right corner right away. If we run far enough, the other slime won't aggro on us, so we only have to face one of the slime with the fireball aura. After putting out the fire buff with Hydro attacks, it is safe to damage it with Electro. Here I used Fischl with Barbara, and it is a very effective combo at taking out enemies one by one. After taking out the first slime, stay in the corner and take out the next 3 enemies one by one. As long as you stay in the corner, the other slime won't aggro, and the fire buff from the sigil won't affect the enemies, making them much easier to kill. The other enemies besides the slime can be killed with any damage dealer as long as you don't trigger Overload. After killing the first Abyss Mage, there's only one Pyro Slime and one Abyss Mage left. Which one to kill first is up to you. If you're under-geared, I recommend luring the Pyro Slime first, as the Abyss Mage has the Fireball aura, which can hurt really bad. Just make sure not to fight near the Fire Sigil. Try to lure the enemies to the edge of the map, and this domain can be done with ease. The last difficult domain is the Geo artifact domain. Here on the first wave, we'll fight a Ruin Hunter, and it hits pretty hard. It only exposes the weak spot when it flies up and does the range attack, but it will chase you with the melee attack most of the time, so it is kinda hard to hit the weak spot. However, here is a little trick you can do to manipulate the Ruin Hunter's action and show its weak point. For some reason, whenever the Ruin Hunter sees an elevation change on your character, it will always do the range attack. So we can just use the Geo main character and stand on the rock to get the Ruin Hunter to fly up. After that, you can just use an archer to hit the weak point and stun it for a long time. This always works, so you can effectively chain stun the Ruin Hunter to safely kill it. The other domains are much easier, so I'll just put the enemy setup with the recommended characters on screen. I'll have the timestamps for every domain. Pause and read them if you want, but they really shouldn't give you much trouble. And that's it for this video. Good luck farming, thanks for watching, and have a nice day.